Good evening, welcome. Thank you for joining us. This is the Marion City Council meeting for December 5th, 2024. And we have visitors here from Boy Scout Troop 58. I asked them if they'd like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. So please come forward and help lead us in the pledge. Please rise. Come on, you want to come forward? Yep. Okay, come on up here. Yep. Okay, here's the flag. So, all right. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. Thank you, gentlemen. Roll call, please.
Mr. Jensen,
Here.
Mr. Harper,
Here.
Mr. Miskman,
Here.
Mayor Abu-Wasley,
Here.
Ms. Menzer, here, Mr. Brandt,
Here.
Mr. Sterned.
Here. Thank you. Our next item on the agenda is the public forum, and I'd like to just review the. Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot the moment of silence. We'll do the moment of silence now. Thank you. Okay, thank you. I'll review the rules of procedure for our public forums. There are two public forums in the meeting. The initial forum is at the beginning of the meeting for comments from members of the public related to agenda items that are not associated with the public hearing. Second forum is for any comments from members of the public, which is at the end of the meeting. There are yellow comment cards at the end of the table. Please complete those if you intend to address the city council and present them to the clerk before you speak. Please do not approach the dais where the council is seated. If you have handouts to submit, please submit those to the clerk. Once called forward, please step up to the podium, and you're encouraged to state your name and any group affiliation. In order to preserve meeting decorum, you're encouraged to address the council as mayor and members of council. All people wishing to speak in the public forum will have 5 minutes to make their comments. Please do not engage in imminently threatening behavior, which threatens any person or incites violence or which is obscene. Please avoid repeating comments or points that have been previously shared. Speakers and people attending the meeting shall not engage in conduct that disrupts the orderly progress of the meeting or engage in speech or conduct that interferes with other people's ability to participate in the meeting. Failure to adhere to these guidelines or engaging in any disruptive behavior or speech will, after a warning, result in removal from the meeting and may result in further legal action, including prohibiting the person's presence at future meetings. We appreciate everyone's cooperation in adhering to these guidelines or these rules of procedure. So we'll open the first public forum at this time. Is anyone here to address council on any topic that is part of the meeting on the agenda, but not part of a public hearing? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one is coming forward, we'll close this part of the meeting, proceed to the consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as follows. Items A1 through F1, resolutions 32180 through 32193.
Second.
Been moved in second to approve the consent agenda as presented. Any discussion?
Your Honor.
Yes, sir.
So I have a question on D3, and I want to apologize, Mr. Barkalow, for not bringing this up on Tuesday regarding the library generator project. My only question is, and I was looking at that, and I have an affinity to standby generation, I should just tell you. But in the diagram, it indicates that we're intending to place a Caterpillar natural gas genset. Are we decided on that particular manufacturer, or is that just an exemplar for what's going to go in there?
So talking with our maintenance groups, we already have several of those. And so that way we can be consistent, not have a different generator at every facility.
Okay, so you read my mind. I was curious if this is just so that we're staying standardized across the type and manufacturer of equipment. So thanks, I appreciate that.
Yep.
That's all.
Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as presented, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. For the next section, I will turn over the meeting to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abalasi's abstention as follows. This will be items A1 through D1, resolutions 32194 through 32195.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the consent agenda with Mayor Abu-Wassili's abstention as follows. Items A1 through D1, resolutions 32194 to 32195. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion carries with one abstention. With that, back to the mayor.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 24-17, amending various sections of the Marion Code of Ordinances, including chapter 223-11 regarding nuisance abatement and chapter 313, article 12 regarding automated traffic enforcement, and this is the final consideration.
Second?
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final consideration of ordinance number 24-17. Any discussion? All those in favor of the final approval of ordinance number 24-17, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. The motion is approved. The next item is a public hearing on a proposed development agreement with Squaw Creek Crossing, Inc. We'll open the public hearing, and do we have a presentation?
Yes, Your Honor. This is to consider a tax increment financing incentive out at Easttown Crossing. This is the corner lot that is proposed to be a Freddy's. It's a 12-year sliding scale with a maximum of $420,000. And just for the benefit of the public, this was under agreement, under a memorandum of understanding with Squaw Creek Crossing from the onset really of the development, the larger development.
Okay. If anyone's here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward. Okay, we'll ask the staff if we received any comments outside the meeting.
I have not.
I have not received any.
Okay, please note that for the record. We'll close the public hearing, and for the resolution, I will turn over the meeting to the Mayor Pro Tem.
Mayor Pro Tem, I move to approve resolution number 32-196, approving development agreement with Squaw Creek Crossing Incorporated, authorizing annual appropriation tax increment payments and pledging certain tax increment revenues to the payment of the agreement.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32196, approving the development agreement with Squaw Creek Crossings, Inc. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. Motion carries with one abstention.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 24-19, approving a request to rezone property from UTC 1 to PUD for property located at 801 10th Street, Marion, Iowa. And this is the final consideration.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the final consideration of ordinance number 24-19, approving the request to rezone the property at 801 10th Street, Marion, Iowa, from urban transitional commercial to planned unit development. Any discussion? All those in favor of approving ordinance number 24-19, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution number 32197, approving the Hoth Flats preliminary site development plan associated with the multifamily project located at 801 10th Street, Marion, Iowa.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32197, approving the Hoth Flats preliminary site development plan associated with the multifamily project located at 801 10th Street. Discussion? None? Okay. All those in favor of approving resolution number 32197, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve resolution 32198, approving the Hoth Flats final site development plan associated with the multifamily project located at 801 10th Street, Marion, Iowa.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve resolution number 32198, approving the final site development plan for the Hoth Flats project at 801 10th Street. Discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say no. The motion is approved.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 24-20, approving amendments to chapter 340 of the Marion Code of Ordinances related to zoning definitions, parking and loading regulations, landscape and screening standards, and necessary structure setbacks. This will be the final consideration.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 24-20, approving amendments to chapter 340 of the Code of Ordinances relating to zoning definitions, parking and loading regulations, landscape and screening standards, and accessory structure setbacks. Discussion? All those in favor of approving ordinance number 24-20, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, please say no. The motion is approved. The next item is a public hearing regarding an amendment to ordinance number 10-25 regarding the Marion Enterprise Center design guidelines for property located south of Highway 151 and east of 62nd Street. The public hearing is now open and we'll have a presentation from Dave.
A brief presentation. As you'd indicated, this is a public hearing regarding an amendment to the development design guidelines document that was associated with the rezoning of the MEC park out there several years ago. I think everybody's familiar with the general location, but for the public, it's west of the airport runway and south of Highway 151. As we all know, the MEC is really a kind of integrated office industrial park, initially created to help create some industrial space to move some of those projects that were in the corridor. As we redeveloped it, that's kind of how it got started. And now it's kind of taken on a life of its own and attracting a lot of high quality businesses to the community and allowing some to stay and expand. There's several key updates to the overall plan that Metco is proposing. I'll hit those real quickly. There's really three major elements being changed. The first is the tier structure. If you recall, the original document on the left hand there had three tiers, 1, 2, and 3. Tier 3 being the most intense, may have outside storage, equipment, material, etc. Tier 2, more manufacturing, industrial inside. And then Tier 1 would be more of your research development, potential commercial spaces. So as we've seen the market change over the years, they've come in and proposing just to eliminate one of the tiers, so really having 2 tiers. Tier 1 in the right across from the police station, kind of the entrance into the community and into the park, and then having the remainder be Tier 2, the dark green. It's really a combination of Tier 1 and Tier 2. It's still meeting those higher design standards that were in the Tier 2, but allowing more uses. As we've seen how the park is developed, even in the Tier 3, they were meeting the Tier 2 standards. They really don't see a need for that heavy industrial user that's going to have the large material storage, outdoor storage, et cetera. They may have some equipment storage, but that might be vehicles, trailers if it's a truck terminal, but they're not gonna see that traditional industrial type of development. They don't anticipate. So they would like to eliminate one of the tiers and go with 2 tiers. Tier 1, whoops, right there in the corner, really maintains the role as the gateway, prioritizing high-quality office, research, and light industrial facilities. Retail spaces would be permitted in this area. Number one, to support the manufacturing area, the south, the employees, maybe it has a daycare component or another gas station, coffee shop, possibly even a restaurant, or a larger retail center. Tier 2, again, would combine those 2 previous tiers, 2 and 3, but still allow that heavy industrial activity to occur. Second phase, I'm sorry, this is kind of hard to read, but we really want to focus on the existing. When with the 3 tiers, we had a handful of general terms for the types of uses that would be allowed by tier. Obviously across the 3 tiers. None of those listed uses were really defined within the zoning code. So what we're proposing now is to tie the use list to the zoning code. So all the uses in the zoning code are now tied to these 2 tiers, whether they're permitted or not. If there's an X on that use, it would be a permitted use, possibly a conditional use depending on the use. But it's tied to a use that is defined within the zoning code. So when somebody comes in and says, I want to do X, we can clearly go and say, okay, X is this. So we have a clear definition of what it is, as opposed to more vague terms found in the existing use table. The final change is, I should have brought a copy of this. I didn't realize how hard this is going to be to read. Is really be the design standards update, probably the one we're most focused on. And I'll read through these since it's a little hard to see. We're going to focus on the red areas of the screen. Number 1, and I'll provide a handout after this meeting as we have additional readings to change this ordinance, and we can circle back if we have to. Initial readings is changing design standards to allow cement board painted horizontal lap siding. This has been a pretty popular material. It's going from a 30% to 50% increase. Some of the businesses are using it out there today, and this would also be for a panel system as well. Both very popular materials we're seeing in industrial and commercial applications. They'd like to increase those 20% or from 30 to 50%. They'd like to be able to use EFS. You'll see this mostly on the office component sides of things, not necessarily the warehouse or industrial side, because it's not a material that can hold up to that well, but you may have that front office that wants to use EFS as a material. That'll be capped at maximum percentages in both the tier 1 and tier 2s. And they'd like to bring in traditional stucco. That's not a material that's currently allowed, but stucco applications have changed quite a bit in the last 20 years. It's become better, installed correctly. So they'd like to allow that as a permitted material up to certain percentages as well. Finally, they'd like to do a roofing material going from allow exposed fastener roofs and rubber roofs for flat roof applications. That's not currently allowed. It's just another option that the developers and builders can use. There is one item here, and we did take it out after P&Z. I know it's hard to see. The initial plans wanted to allow for exposed fasteners on the siding. That was an error, so that's been removed from P&Z. They wanted to allow unlimited use of that material in all tiers or in the tier 2. So that's been removed. We left it in after P&Z in case there is additional amendments or changes from the council. We didn't want to have to recreate the document again and again if additional changes came out, but that has been eliminated, and that was part of the P&Z's recommendation. Finally, and you will not see this tonight, this will come following the approval of the design standard changes, will be a replat of the Marion Enterprise 7th and 11th edition. It's the areas highlighted in red. These are all the undeveloped lots. With the original preliminary plat, they were very large lots, 5-10 acres on some of these pieces. They're going to come back and replat slightly smaller lots, It's always no problem to join lots. If they want to buy two lots, join them, that's fine. But as the property's developed, they've still taken a little bit from other lots. It really kind of got out of sync with the approved preliminary plat. So this is just really a corrected plat to show what's left, reestablish potential easements, and create some lots that the market is asking for. Then that will be available at the January, first meeting in January. This will be approved or re-reviewed. Questions?
We'll take questions when we
Yep.
get to the ordinance resolution. Public hearing is now open. If anyone's here to address council, either in favor or in opposition to this measure, please come forward.
Good evening, council. Brady Quinn, 1964 Boyson Court. I am employee of Medco. Business retention expansion is my role, but have taken on and really want to thank Dave and his team, and also Confluence and Brenda Nelson there as far as advising us as we move forward with not just the lot sizes, but also the material and design standards. What is it, 14, 15 years old? So knowing that some of the materials that were in there didn't exist anymore, but then also there's been new materials that came along, obviously relied heavily on the expertise of David and also our Confluence as well. But also the lot sizes, again, are what we feel have been successful and what we've been able to market and what the market is moving towards. Again, like Dave mentioned, we can still be able to bring lots together if we need to, but then also just the bringing on those far south lots. They're just excited to be able to, again, kind of do a relaunch of the Marion Enterprise Center with our new design guidelines, the new lots, and look forward to hopefully getting some new commercial tax space out there. So appreciate you guys, and yeah, that's all I have to say. So thank you.
We're not, just to be clear, tonight, we're not dealing with the lot sizes.
Yep.
We're only dealing with the design guidelines, right?
Fair.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Just speaking overall. Yep. Thank you, though.
Any questions for Brady? Okay, thanks, Brady.
Thank you.
Anyone else here to address council either in favor or in opposition? Please come forward. Okay, seeing no one's coming forward, we'll ask staff if you've received any comments outside the meeting.
I have not received any.
I've not.
Okay, note that for the record. We'll close the public hearing, proceed to the ordinance.
Mayor, I move to approve ordinance number 24-21, approving an amendment to ordinance number 10-25 regarding the Marion Enterprise Center design guidelines for property generally located south of Highway 151 and east of 62nd Street, Marion, Iowa. And this is the initial consideration.
Second?
Been moved and seconded to approve ordinance number 24-21, approving an amendment to ordinance number 10-25 regarding the Marion Enterprise Center design guidelines. Discussion?
Your Honor.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So Dave, I appreciate your presentation just a few moments ago. So the highlights I took away from it is the tiering structure is simplified to two tiers, and within that, the larger industrial is permitted within the tier 2 proposed properties. And then the other thing that was of significance to me, and I think Brady just said it quite well, but we're acknowledging material changes, not only changes to historically available materials, that their composition and makeup has changed, so now they become useful. And then the second acknowledging relative to materials is that there's just some things that are no longer available. So we're just updating and cleaning up that materials list for utilization.
Correct.
Okay. I just wanted to highlight what was of importance in my mind relative to this. Thanks.
So I'm clear, the tier one is going to be just one lot?
They are proposing one lot, correct, that right across from the police station.
And just, I guess, tell me again why, or we can ask Brady to come back up, but like, why are the others that are closest to the highway, not part of tier one.
Oh, I can speak from the from the planning perspective, is just the lot requests and the lots that were being looked at and desired were not the initial tier ones. It doesn't mean that a tier one user can't come in and be at tier two. They can be in terms of like the use, and if they want to excel and meet additional design standards, they can. We kept it at the lot that was most successful on the corner. When we were looking at these lots, they were getting away from the highway, not the primary entrance into the park. So they wanted to be able to put the focus on the primary lot.
Go ahead, Steve.
So I'm on the Medco Holding Board where we discuss all of this, and we've talked about all of these changes. From a very high level standpoint, all of these changes are being done to make the remaining lots that are not sold more marketable. I mean, there's been a huge difference in the marketplace in the last 15 years. You know, when this was originally done, those tier one lots, everybody thought we're going to build some really nice high-end office buildings, and the demand for those just aren't there anymore. You look at the empty office space everywhere. So I think keeping the one lot that is closest to the highway makes sense. The demand for everything else is really gravitating towards a tier two level, which is still going to be some pretty nice buildings. If you look at what is out there on those sold lots near the existing tier one lots, I mean, there's some pretty nice buildings there. So by changing the structure and everything we're doing here, it's just adapting to and making changes to today's marketplace to make all of these more sellable.
So from your perspective, or the board's perspective, the visibility of those former tier one lots that would be tier two lots, if they're developed under the tier two standards, they're still going to be acceptable as an entryway to our city. They're going to still meet the reaching higher standard of what we're trying to portray as at an entrance to the city.
Well, the one that is really, if you look at the distance on the ones on the very east end, those are less of an entryway to the city than the one lot they're trying to maintain and hold as tier one. So if you really drive out there, you see those from there, but it's like the ones that are existing there already are tier two. And those are pretty nice buildings. So what we anticipate, at least I think they would anticipate, since you have the pond on those, what is currently the existing tier one lots, everybody thought that would be a draw for somebody wanting to put an office building on those sites. That has not been the case. High-end office buildings are not being put up. So I think it made sense to me, at least, maintaining the one lot, opening up the other ones to be available so they can be sold, because none of those on the interior are currently sold. So.
And how many acres is lot one?
Approximately 7 acres.
Okay. Okay, any other questions? All right. All those in favor of approving ordinance number 24-21, please say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, say no. Motion is approved. Next item is a public forum for comments from members of the public on any topic. If you're here to address council, please come forward. I know we have a representative of the Boy Scout troop that wants to speak.
So, my name is Everett Spielman.
You can move it.
You can move the microphone, you can adjust it.
There you
There you go.
Hello, my name is Everett Spielman and I am representing Troop 58, from here in Marion. And I would like when we are currently working on a presentation that's about Marion, and when we are done with it, we would like to give it to you to present.
Thank you.
Good. Thank you.
Did anybody have any questions for him? No? Okay, well, thank you. Okay, we'll look forward to your presentation when you have that ready. Thank you for being here. Anyone else to address council, please come forward. Okay, seeing no one is coming forward, we'll close this part of the meeting. We'll move on to council comments. Start with Steve.
Yeah, well, last Saturday was Small Business Saturday. I think it was, so my wife and I went uptown and supported a number of the businesses. So that felt good, and it's also very nice to see the volume of people that were uptown. So we were there probably late morning till early afternoon, but it looked like all day. It was a really nice business for the people to coming up into Marion.
Thank you. Yes. Regarding our visitors tonight, Troop 58, and is the one gentleman who just spoke, are you Civil Air Patrol? Is that right? Very cool. Okay, I really think well of the activities that Scouting and Civil Air Patrol bring to the development of our youth. And I was associated way back when with Troop 360. So thank you for coming here. I would just comment, if any of you, as you want to understand more about the operations of government, we have council members who are at the library each Saturday morning throughout the winter, so you can have discussions with them. And if you really want to see some in-depth discussion, our work sessions on Tuesdays, such as this week, Tuesday, that's where we really dive into some of the details on all of the agenda items. So that's why we're pretty streamlined through our meetings here this evening. So, because we've already hashed things out. But again, thanks for joining us.
Tomorrow I get the privilege of leading a couple Linn-Mar High School classes on a tour of the Lynn County Mental Health Access Center. And rumor has it, we will be playing Are You Smarter Than Your City Councilman is what I hear. So we're gonna see how that goes about the Access Center and mental health, and I'll report back in the near future.
Can you record?
What happens if you lose?
I don't know.
We'll save you for a lot of this stuff coming up, but I think we have a ribbon cutting for the bookmobile bill tomorrow at 3 o'clock. So very exciting project. Thanks for bringing that to the community, and we look forward to all the activities. It was great to get a sneak peek the other day, and your staff has just done an incredible job with this new opportunity for our community. So thank you.
Will?
Nothing there either. Thank you.
Okay. Well, since the last meeting, we had a couple of retirements, one from the police department, one for the fire department, some longtime public servants who will be going on to their next chapter. So we wish them well. We had a wonderful council, youth council session at the public service building, the public works building. And Mike did a great job of explaining to them all that department does, and giving them a pretty fun tour of the facility. It was a really good session. They all enjoyed it very much. Tomorrow is the Christmas in the Park festivities. We hope everyone will come out and join in the fun. That's sponsored by the chamber, and lots of sponsors and lots of wonderful volunteers, and it's put on for our enjoyment and our opportunity to really experience community, and it's just a great event. I hope everyone comes out and enjoys it. And we had one new store opening in Uptown And another one that had a brief opening as a pop-up shop, but will be opening in January. So new businesses are thriving in Uptown, and I know just to follow up on Steve's comment, I think a lot of them are experiencing increased volumes, increased traffic, and I think that that's not just a holiday thing. It's or a small business Saturday thing. It's a it is a result, I think, of a lot of hard work by a lot of people to create that environment in Uptown and to encourage businesses and to give them a place where they can have opportunity. And we're experiencing lots of growth and lots of positivity around what's going on up there. And I think it's just the beginning, and it's going to continue. And we expect to see a lot more of that. And I think once the plaza is open, it's going to draw even more traffic in Uptown. And, I have the opportunity to be in lots of regional meetings and to speak with lots of regional leaders and business leaders around the community and around the metro area and the broader region. And Marion is always the topic of conversation, and it's always very positive. We are being noticed in a very positive way for the way that we are doing things, for the progress that we're experiencing, and the way that we are driving our own destiny in such a positive way. We are being held up as the example for all the communities around us. And I just want to thank everyone and encourage you to continue on this path, continue to work together, to continue to reach higher. Whatever the design standards are, we should be pushing ourselves and developers and anyone that wants to do a project here to give us their very best, and asking for the very best, expecting that from them, and working to get the very best for our community in everything that we do. And to always take the extra step and make the extra effort to reach higher and to achieve the desired goal. And I have no doubt that we're going to continue to thrive and to flourish as a community. So thank you all for joining us tonight. Meeting is adjourned.